everyone, how are you guys doing today? My name is Miriam Nayeli. Thank you guys so much for clicking on my video. So today, couple things. First off, thank you for all the love and support I received on my first YouTube video. I very much appreciate that. Second of all, I know last week was kind of a sad one. It's not that great this time around either, I'm gonna be quite honest with you, but I feel like now that I've got my first video up and ready, I kind of have an idea of how things are gonna go. So, alright, our first case, or second case is what I meant, our second case. So we are going to be talking about the Longo family, okay? So the Longo family, the main person in the case is going to be Christian Longo. The reason for this is because he's a horrible person in the story. Discretion is advised. All the information I receive is information that I find on the internet, and I'm kind of like putting it all together for you. It's kind of like show and tell, but you get no grade. Anyway. January 23rd, 1974, Christian was born. He was born in Michigan, and he was born to a very strict Jehovah's Witness family, okay? So, I'm gonna be quite honest, I don't know very much about the religion, but I do know that they're very strict on certain things, so if you guys know more, feel free to let me know, but I'm not familiar. So anyway, so he was born in 1974. That would make him somewhere around his 40s today. He was born in Michigan, and he ended up getting married at 19. Very young. He was also married to a woman named Mary Jane. She was also a Jehovah's Witness. He wanted a very luxurious life, and he lived his life as if he had all the money in the world, but truth and reality is he didn't have that kind of money. However, he did buy Mary Jane a 3.5 carat diamond ring for their wedding, okay? Now, I realize not a lot of people know about jewelry or diamonds, and I happen to know quite a bit. So I work in a jewelry store, and I can tell you right now, 3.5 carat diamond ring, that is a big rock, okay? And it's so pretty, but the bill, it's not cute. The ring's real cute, but you better find a way to make those payments, because it's really expensive. If I'm being quite honest, it's just, and at 19, that's kind of crazy. Like at 19, you have all the money for a 3.5 carat ring. Okay, nobody's gonna say no to you, but I hope you can pay for it, unlike Christian. Okay, see, the thing is that he bought Mary Jane a 3.5 carat ring. It was beautiful, however, he was making payments on it, which is not a big deal. Like, you can make payments on things, that's not a problem. The problem is that he was making this payment every month, and Mary Jane knew nothing about it. Mary Jane didn't know that he had gotten the ring on payment plan. So, and I mean, maybe that's not something that she needs to know, especially if it's her engagement ring. However, it got to the point where Christian stole, I think it was like $108 from his work just to pay the ring 1 month. Okay, like now let me clarify. He needed to pay both the rent and the ring. He stole money from his job so that he could pay the ring. So he had no rent money. And Mary Jane did not know this. he never told her any of it. He always told her it was good and it was fine and they had money, because he made it seem like he could afford all these things. He bought so many things that he could not afford. So, needless to say, they did not last very long in that apartment because of the fact that he was always making late payments. Like I said, he stole money one time from his job just to pay the ring, and he didn't pay the rent. So, now, at this time also, people were starting to realize he was a little bit of a thief, and because he was such a strict Jehovah's Witness, they actually told him that he could not marry Mary Jane in this, like, a kingdom hall is what they called it. I don't exactly know what that is, but again, I don't know much about the religion, so if you know, let me know. But he was not allowed to do this, so they got married somewhere else. Now, in another incident, his car got repossessed, okay? So, now let me tell you real quick. At this time, he had created his own company. I'm gonna be quite honest, I don't know what he did. It wasn't very clear. Everything I read didn't even have anything. It just said he had a business. So he was a small business owner. So at this time, his car got repossessed because he wasn't making any payments on it. So when this happened, what did he do? Did he make payments? No. That would be funny. He did not make payments. He actually made a fake ID. And he went to a car dealership, and then once he was at the car dealership, he told them he wanted to take a car on a test drive. You know, they said okay, they wrote down his driver's license information, his ID, all of that. They wrote it down, let him take the car. He never brought it back. Now, why, you may ask? Well, because he didn't have the money to pay for it, and he had used a fake ID, so they weren't going to know who it was. So he just never brought it back. But at this time, he told his wife that he had bought this new car, and now in May of 2000, yes, 2000, ends right there. So May of the year 2000, Mary Jane found some emails he was having back and forth with a girl, so they moved. Okay, they moved out of state. Okay, so then in September of 2000, he was printing false checks from companies that owed money to his company. So basically how that ended up happening, he ended up getting caught and he got 3 years of probation. Also at this time, the Jehovah's Witnesses church, they found out about all of the crime that he was doing, so he ended up getting, what do you call it, like, he got, they said disfellowship. Basically meant banned, like he got banned from being a Jehovah's Witness because they are so strict, and they kept hearing about all of the stuff he was doing, which was not, it was very, very frowned upon. And he took out a credit card under his father's name for $100,000. That is a lot of money. And he used it up so quickly, like he was just in so much debt. Okay, so after this he moved to Ohio. At this time he actually kind of started having his wife cut ties. His wife's family would always tell her like, hey, like, he's not good for you, that's not okay. But Mary was always supportive and always saying, no, you guys are wrong. Waldport, Oregon is where he moved. He fell behind on many payments. At one time, he ended up living in a little condo, and he never made payments on it. He told his wife that everything was fine, payments were made. It just didn't know what was going on, and that's the sad part, is that You, she had no clue. Now that you guys got a little bit of background, let's go back to the actual murders. Okay, so in December 19th of 2001, the body of 4-year-old Zachary Longo was found in a river. Well, not a river, it was technically the ocean. Okay, it's right by the beach. So the way they found him, someone was just walking by, they saw a body floating, quite literally, and when they got closer, they saw it was a little boy, so of course they called the cops. They went to go investigate, and they found him. He had, like, bricks tied to him. I mean, he did end up being caught. Not caught, found. His dad got caught. He was found. So he was found, and then that's when they realized, like, where are the parents? Okay, because you've got a little 4-year-old boy floating, and they're not knowing where their parents are. So he found his 2-year-old sister in the same spot that he did. Though found the same way Zach was, and I believe her name was Sadie. Was found December 22nd, so just a couple days later she was found in the same area, general area that her brother Zach was found, and she was weighed down with a rock inside of a pillowcase, and they were tied to their ankles because Zach was found the same exact way. And at this point the authorities are like, okay, 2 kids, brother, sister, where are their parents, right? So they start looking. However, they did not need to search very far, because on December 27th of 2001, suitcases were found. In one of them was many pieces of Mary Jane, mutilated pieces. And in the other was Madison. She was 2 years old. And she was found with her favorite teddy bear and a ton of her clothes next to her, like around her, because she actually fit inside the whole suitcase, but he decided to also fill it up with her favorite things. This is a lot heavier than I thought it would be. Like, as I'm researching, I know how to detach from the situation. However, if I'm being completely honest, once I'm actually saying it, I get a knot in my throat because I love kids, and especially in this case, it's just kind of like, really? You gotta be that shitty of a person to do that to your own daughter? They got autopsies done on all of them, and all of them, it showed that they had died from asphyxia. So basically, if you don't know, they died of asphyxiation, which means they were being choked. Sorry if you can hear that, it's my dog trying to get out of my room. So, you got it. Goal reached. And now we're back. Okay. So, they died of asphyxiation, which means they were probably choked to death. And it's shown that Zach and Sadie, though, they were, they had water in their lungs. Now, what does this mean? They were found in the water, yes. However, once you die, you stop breathing. So once you die, your lungs can no longer, like, absorb water because you're already dead, right? You're not inhaling water. However, it was shown that in Zach and Sadie's bodies, there was water. So, what they're thinking happened was that maybe he thought he had choked them, and they only passed out, and he didn't know this, put them in the water, and then they were just passed out. They weren't dead, so they were like, they inhaled the water. So possibility of them drowning. I could not find anything for sure that they drowned, but it was implied. What happens next? Well, what happens next is that Christian was put on FBI's top 10 most wanted people. Okay, because at this point, they had the mom, they had the children, so where was the dad, right? Well, they had to find him. They looked into his record, they saw that he had gotten in trouble with the law because of being in debt. And for whatever reason, somebody, he was in Mexico. How he got out of the United States, I don't know. But he was in Mexico, and oh, wait, I do know. I know how he got out. It was because he made fake documentation saying that his name was Michael Finkel. Now, who is Michael Finkel? Well, let me just tell you. Michael Finkel at the time was a New York Times travel writer. So he, made all the documentation, all the passports and IDs and all of that, saying that his name was Michael Finkel, and he went to Mexico. In Mexico, it's not like he was having the time of his life per se, but he also was not holding back. I believe he met a woman there and told him that his name was Michael Finkel. He was doing a story on the New York Times, and he started going by that name. On January 13th of 2002, Christian posing as Michael. He got caught, so he was arrested, flown back to Oregon, and he did not confess, but after December 16th, 2001, he said he distracted himself by renting movies and going to the gym, and he told his co-workers at this time that his wife had left him for another man. Now keep in mind, this had happened before he had even murdered his wife. So he had it planned out. So at the time, I keep forgetting things, but they'll slowly be added into the story. So the point is, in the 2001 Christmas party, he was working at a Starbucks in Oregon. He wasn't even good. I think a couple times he got caught writing down his customers' card information number and then using them later on. So at that Christmas party, before he had even done anything to any of his family members, he told his co-workers that his wife had left him to be, I don't know, to be with another man. So, talk about premeditated, right? Now, things leading up to the murder, December 17th, 2001, he wanted to stay home. He didn't really want to go to work, but at this time, his wife, Mary Jane, did know that they were in deep financial trouble, so she told him, no, you can't stay home, you need to go to work because we can't afford to not go to work. Mind you, they only had the one car, so she drove him to work and picked him up from work. His story, the first story he told, he said that Mary Jane picked him up and nothing but a rope. Okay, no shoes, no socks, nothing but a robe. And he said that the kids weren't in the car. Now, he tells this story that the kids not being in the car, he got very upset and he asked where the kids were, and that she said they were in the water. Now at this point, it is said that Christian lost control and he started choking Mary until she could no longer breathe, and it was only then when he so anyway, When he was in court for this, all of it was debunked. You know, it was shown that Mary was not hadn't had any violent tendencies towards the kids, towards him. She just wasn't a violent person in general. So April 7th, 2003, after only 4 hours of deliberation, he was found guilty of aggravated murder and of 2 of his kids. April 16th, 2003, deliberated for 6 hours. He was found guilty, sentenced to death for all 4 of his killings. I'm going to be quite honest, I don't understand how he was guilty of aggravated murder for just 2 out of the 4. I don't understand how that worked. I looked into it. I didn't. Also, I did not see any, like, time of death or day of death or anything, so I believe he's still in jail, for the rest of his life, pretty much. But that is the whole story of the Longo family. So, thoughts. Okay? Let's have a couple thoughts. Okay, so moral of the story, don't buy things you can't afford and then kill people because to let your partner know that you guys are in trouble with debt. Just don't get into debt, or get into debt you know you can pay off. Like, don't go into extreme debt where you have to, you know, steal your dad's information to get $100,000 worth of things. Now for any of you guys who are interested, anyway, the point is, there's a movie, it's called True Story, and I found it on Amazon Prime, and it is pretty accurate. Of course, it's dramatized a little bit, but it's pretty accurate on what, like, the story itself, which is why I kind of teared up a little bit when I was talking about Madison, was because it shows the part where they open the suitcase. And any of you guys asking, by the way, he did that, quote unquote, to have her comfortable. She'd be more comfortable if she were alive, but I don't really know what to say. Like, I just know that he wasn't a good father. That scene makes me cry, and just thinking about that scene made that part of my research so real. So, needless to say, it's a sad story. Okay, that is the end of the story. It's kind of short, it's kind of repetitive. I realize that. I do that a lot when I talk. I kind of get repetitive to get my point across. Like, I understand I can get my point across the first time, but for whatever reason, I just like to talk. Okay? So, thank you so much for joining me on my second account, or on my second YouTube video. Please feel free to like and share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would so very much appreciate it. If you guys have a story you guys want to hear, let me know, because I would be glad to look into it, tell you guys, let you guys know. Next week I have a video planned. I had planned to do these videos every week, but like I said, I work all the time, so filming for me kind of gets a little bit, a little hard. But the point is, I will try to upload, if not every week, at least every other week. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Thank you guys for listening once again, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.